Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, YouTube. Stand by. Hey, great to see you, Daniel. Appreciate it. Uh, yeah, hope everybody sticks around. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. Lots going on. So I'm going to kind of like give a holiday recap, and we're going to talk about silver and gold. Silver and gold. Remember Rudolph the reindeer? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer? Remember that cartoon? They used to always play right around Christmas time. Remember Cornelius, throwing that ice pick up in there, and when he gets it, he licks the end of the tip of the ice pick and tastes for silver or gold, I guess, right? Remember that? Hey, Tanya, great to see you here. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to check on Rumble real quick. Bear with me. There's a little bit, I have a different layout. They recommended this for whatever reason. I like the former layout. Oh, for everybody that's stopping in, before I forget, I'm at 493 subs on YouTube. If you haven't subbed this channel, man, I'd like to be where I could actually go get monetized. I'm looking at being an affiliate for a certain type of metals exchange, so I won't get into the details, but I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight, okay? And I'm not an economist or whatever or anything like that, but yeah, a lot going on in the metals, a lot of talk, a lot of discussions, and I'll get into that tonight. So let's bring up the Rumble and get it up to where it's live. Refresh and Rumble real quick. Okay. I'm working on a little bit different platform than I'm normally accustomed to, so bear with me. Yeah, Tanya, again, Daniel, everybody, thank you for being here. Okay, so we have that beautiful echo in the background. So again, if you haven't done so already, if you know some friends, whatever, only need 7 more subs on YouTube to be monetized if I choose to be monetized. So let me turn the volume down. Let me see here. Go back. So Rumble's working fine. I'll give myself a thumbs up on Rumble and get back to YouTube and check out the chat. So how was everyone's holidays so far? A lot of people don't, they don't go back to work. The first day is back to work is Monday coming up. I hope everybody has a nice weekend. I hope everyone has had a very, very great experience for your holidays. Like I said, so much stuff going on. It's hard to keep track of it all. So let me get back to YouTube again. Check out the chats. Yeah, I haven't been on for a while. I apologize for that. Not getting on. There's just so much stuff going on. So much, things that are going on in my life and a lot of responsibilities. When you have loved ones that have ailments, whatever, and you got to be there for them. It takes a lot out of you, But other than that, I can't complain. My my Christmas and New Year's was it was pretty good. I don't have anything to complain about. And if I think about how much I'm blessed, basically, uh, so I really shouldn't have any complaints. Okay, so this new system, not old, it's an old system. It's not cooperating with me tonight for some reason. Won't let me get over to YouTube and check out the chat from there. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So hopefully Rumble sticks around. Let me see what's going on. Hope I don't have to be able to refresh Rumble because I can't. This antiquated system, I can't switch back and forth like I do in my other system I have. So, like I said, bear with me. And I hope everyone had a wonderful holidays. I know, um, golly, so today's the second, right? Yesterday was the 1st of January. My days are all running together. Crazy whacked out hours, getting up real early, having to go to bed, late and getting up really early. It not a set program there for me. But anyways, again, I hope everyone had a wonderful holidays, and we're going to get into the silver and gold thing a little bit, and I'm going to dispel. Now, I'm not a economist and all that stuff. I'm not an advisor, financial advisor. This is just what I've heard and been picking up. Okay. So I'll get into that. So now on Christmas Day, I was actually, you see that avatar photograph? That's a picture of the sun in Florida. I was looking out in the direction of the sun is where it sets in the Gulf of America, and that topic came up during the holidays, and I thought that was kind of funny. The take on other people's, oh, it's always been Gulf of Mexico. Hey, if that's the way you feel, that's fine. I said, well, Mexico's in North America, and America is in North America too. North America and South America, but this is the Gulf of America, right? So why would people, if you look at that kind of logic, right, it didn't belong to Mexico. We have just as much rights in the Gulf as Mexicans do, Mexican people do. So why shouldn't it be called the Gulf of America? But anyway, so that's what we call it. I call it now. I have no problem calling it Gulf of America because we're on the same North American continent. So okay, so they're trapping everyone. Why silver just bounced off 70? That's 2 hours ago. Kevin O'Leary. Okay. And again, welcome to everyone that showed up to the live stream. If you haven't done so already, please sub here on YouTube. I only need 7 more subs and I actually can become monetized. Okay. So I appreciate that. And like I said before, in case you just showed up, I'm looking at being an affiliate with a metals exchange company. I think the best in the country, or one of the top best metal exchange companies in America. So stand by. So, okay. All right. Finally got there. I'm going to do a volume check here real quick. Testing 1, 2, YouTube. It should be working. Okay. Yeah. So check out that sun. Again, that's Christmas Day. It was like about 70 degrees at that time frame. I was there. I was there in the afternoon, and then actually had a walk on the beach. Walk on the beach, and there was a lot of people out there. There's a person out there dressed in a Santa Claus costume, whatever. That was I wasn't kind of expecting that, but yeah, that's Florida for Christmas. You can go to the beach on many, and even if it's like cold, Florida kind of cold, it gets below 70 degrees. It's cold for us, right? If there's a little bit of a breeze going on, so I didn't. I don't think there's audio on that. Now I put that place card holder video over on Rumble in case y'all didn't know that, but then it's only like 8 seconds long. But that's me just walking up and down the beach in Florida on Christmas Day, and I think there was a lot of a bad weather, uh, very bad cold weather on Christmas Day for other people, and I hope everybody got out of that all right, safely. But anyways, I just want to stop in and do a recap for the holidays and check and see how everyone else's holidays has gone so far. And I think school lets back in on the 7th, I think on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. So those of y'all that have kids or grandkids in Florida, I think they go back to school on the 7th. I thought it was this coming Monday, but so anyways, and look and see. So tomorrow's the children do. So anyways, traffic like, hey Normandy, hey, great to see you here. Again, I don't want to keep on, I don't like to do that. It's like, sound like I'm begging or something, but for those that have been here from the very beginning, like Tanya, Daniel, y'all know I've been doing live streams for over 2 years, and they deplatformed me on YouTube, and I lost basically overwhelming amount of followers and subscribers. And when I was able to bring back up a new channel, basically nobody even knew I was here again, right? So, anyways, if you haven't done subbed this channel on YouTube, all I need is 7 more subs. The last I checked, I have 493, and you need 500 unless they change that. But anyways, 500 would be a milestone, and it'd be really great to see that happen soon. So yeah, it just takes a little click of the button, whatever, and you can sub. And there's no subscription fees here at all. And this is basically my own free time to provide information, and I share things from a different perspective, being a retired Air Force veteran, and also now as a civilian, because I've been retired for quite some time. Actually, it's been, let me figure it out. Oh, where are you at, Normandy? That might sound like a dumb question for some, but does that location actually have something to do with Normandy, like D-Day or whatever? Or that's just the name you came up with it? You say at Normandy. Yeah, Miami would be. It's warmer there in Miami than it definitely is warmer there than here in Massachusetts visiting. Oh, okay, that's cool. So Normandy is in what, France or France, right? Forgive me if I'm wrong. I shouldn't remember that as far as World War II and that kind of thing. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah. So I was talking about the beginning of the live stream when I first started. It was basically being interrupted because I was having a few snags here getting everything set up on this antiquated system I have here at this location. So anyways, yeah, I was talking about that cartoon they play around every Christmas time. Uh, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Remember, uh, what's his name? Cornelius. Cornelius, the guy with a pickaxe, always looking for silver and gold. And remember the guy that I think they were the island of the Misfits, right? And hey, Winslow, great to see you here. I'm out there. I'm not on my hands and knees yet, begging. Guys, I'm not gonna get to there, believe me. But if I did, y'all wouldn't see me, so that would be all right too, right? All I need is 7 more subs on YouTube to be monetized. That if I choose to be monetized. And remember again, I don't charge a subscription for all the hours of research and everything I put into these live streams. The last I checked, there's over 200,000, something like that. I can check that now real quick. Nope, it's not going to let me. Wow. I can't go over there and check the other side. Yeah, there was like 95,000, or it was like over 100,000 views for the all the live streams I did for over 2 years. So over 95,000 views, and I'm still at 493 after all this time subs on YouTube. So, it would be nice to have that. Yeah, Tanya, I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone else. And if you have a friend or something, if they're really bored, some of the topics I talk about, I know is really boring. It would have been really boring for me when I was young, to talk about, and some of the military stuff. I know a lot of people aren't into that, but some of my stories could be kind of boring. But hey, you could use that in a positive way. You don't need to take no melatonin pills, if you have a hard time getting to sleep, you don't have to take no sleeping pills. Go listen to RH, and I'll try to be as monotone as possible, okay? So I can help you get to uh, uh, counting sheep, right? Counting sheep, as they jump over the fence or whatever. However you're going to count sheep. I preferably want to count something else but I won't get into that. This is it wouldn't be past rated G. Believe me, it would be like PG or something like that. But I'm gonna refrain from RH's dumb jokes, okay, for tonight. So, because I got a plan, man. I got a plan. Oh, Dave? Dave, right? I forgot his last name. Yeah, I used to listen to Dave a lot. Uh, the only constructive criticism I'd have with Dave is switch it up a little bit sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we pretty much watch the same circles, I think, Tanya. Winslow, I'm glad you got a good sense of humor tonight. So yeah, man, let's turn this into something positive. If it gets really, really boring and you're having a hard time asleep, hey, you can play back previous live streams, RH's RH's classic live streams like back 2 years ago. But I was about to get into my skit here with the um what's his name? Uh the guy. What was that guy's name? Cornelius, yeah. The Cornelius, that was his name, right? You remember the abominable snowman, right? Remember the island of the misfit toys, I think it was called, and the apprentice that wanted to be a dentist. And remember, I think they pulled out the abominable snowman's bad tooth, right? And they replaced it with a gold tooth, right? So remember that? Yeah, oh yeah, I do get passionate. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I do. I get passionate because I love our country and I love everyone, and I just like, especially with wars and yeah, I do. Sometimes I wear my feelings on my sleeve, right? A little bit too much. That's yeah, it's justifiable criticism, constructive criticism, and that's great. And sometimes it turns into a live scream instead of a live stream, right? Remember, at least I'm aware of it, and I can joke about it, right? So I've tried to calm down. I've tried to calm down, especially, I'm in an ancient, antiquated system right now, so I'm afraid to speak up too loud. It might all crash on me, you know, like a what do you call it? Cards, a deck of cards, whatever. You know how you stack up the cards, whatever. And I think it was on listen one of the recaps of another show. I was talking about me being a master mason in kindergarten. Man, I had those blocks all stacked up into a tower. I mean, President Trump would be envious of RH in kindergarten. The way as high as I built up that tower. That tower is taller than I was. And I figured out after multiple times, I was like only like 4 years old or something like that. Okay, I couldn't. I had to build out the base, right? And then contour it. What do you call it? Just kind of like build out the base till you have like the very top penthouse floor at the very top end with my blocks. And I think I used every single block in the toy box in kindergarten to become a master mason. So I'm thinking back to the pyramids, the ancient pyramids days, but I don't think I would have that ability even now after all these years later when little old RH was in kindergarten and he was a master mason apprentice with blocks. So I do remember it looked kind of cool. So I didn't like it because I was stacking the single blocks at the end because I ran out of blocks to keep to contour that base from wider to narrower, right? So I just started stacking like single blocks in a row for the top of the tower, and it was leaning. It was like the leaning tower of what do you call that? Pisa, whatever you call it. Um, London Leaning Tower. Where's the Leaning Tower at? I can't remember. But anyways, it was leaning. So as the master mason in kindergarten, I didn't want anybody else to destroy my work, and I wasn't proud of it because it was leaning, right? So I just knocked it all down myself and went home. So I went home. So well, long-term memories seems to be all right. So hopefully I keep that short-term memory as well. So anyways, yeah, where are we at? You go over. I can't go over to Rumble, and so if you're over at Rumble, I'm at area 111 with a space over on YouTube. So I can't go over to Rumble to check out the chat there. So if y'all don't mind joining us over here on YouTube and giving little RH, the master mason, building towers, that would be envious of Donald Trump back in my kindergarten days, you know, very envious. I'm sure President Trump would be very envious. He might even give me some recognition or something like that. Send over uh, 7 subs himself. I'm pretty sure the President of the United States can get 7 friends together, get RH over that final milestone, right? Cross that final milestone. 500 subs on YouTube. Wow. What a great accomplishment, right? So after all the live streams that y'all have endured, I don't want to get excited, right? I don't want to wear my emotions on my sleeve and get carried away here because I I can't see myself crying or whatever or doing any kind of theatrics like that. You know what I mean? But let's see. I'm waiting for some other people. Hopefully they'll come on. Got some friends out west in Washington State. I was stationed in Washington State for those that don't remember that story. Uh, but yes, I was stationed in Washington State. On May 18th, I think it was 1980, Mount St. Helens blew up. I was sitting on scope actually watching the scope, and everybody was basically I couldn't leave my position, right? Okay, I'm going to pull on the whole northwestern sector of air defense. I'm going to have to call NORAD up, the General NORAD at the time, and tell them, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to leave my position because I want to see all this ash coming towards our way from Mount St. Helens eruption. So I couldn't go. I couldn't get anybody relieved to relieve me. And so I couldn't get up on top of the roof to watch the ash come. But the next best thing on my scope, now this is not classified information, I could select or deselect the weather. Okay. So I selected the weather, and guess what? All that ash I could track actually on my radar. And it was heading right towards McChord Air Force Base in Washington State. And like at the last minute, there was a change of wind direction, and it dumped on Yakima, Washington State. And that's where the majority of ash dumped. Now, I remember to this day going out there and like sidekicking the small trees and all the ash coming down still from the trees. And even though it dumped on Yakima the most, they got the most of it. We just got a little bit of what they got. But I remember having to turn, it's like dirty snow, right? And I had to turn on my windshield wipers and have the windshield wipe fluid clean off all that ash. But I remember that. And that ash stuck around for quite some time. It was a huge volcano eruption. And I was there, and that's part of my memories. I had a beautiful picture. Um, we had that in our restaurant. I had it in our restaurant for a while, but I don't know what happened to it. I think somebody just had a 5-finger discount, and I had a nice frame for it and everything. But anyways, I'll never forget that. So that was my experience in being stationed at McChord Air Force Base. Now it's Joint Base Lewis McChord, I think they call it. So, anyways, um, yeah. So I'm trying to get subs. If y'all want to help out this channel, only need 7 more subs on YouTube to be monetized. If I choose to be monetized, remember, all this information is So all this information is basically, you know, not classified or whatever. I don't know what I was going to get into, but yeah, I'm sharing all this information from my own time. You know what I mean? It's just information. And for those that like to pick up on certain things from maybe a different perspective, but uh, so anyways, again, welcome everybody here tonight on the Area 111 channel. Again, this is your host RH, and I'm coming at you from the beautiful, dark, and sunshiny state during the daytime, state of Florida. So, anyways, let's go here and look at this. Yeah, so McCord Air Force Base at the time, um, that was in Tacoma, and I remember they have a paper, we call that a paper mill there. Man, and we called it a nickname Tacoma Aroma. So Tacoma Aroma. So anyways, now again, that's kind of like a holiday recap for myself. I enjoyed the time I had with relatives and that kind of thing for a short period of time. And all the communication, the phone calls and everything, and all the wishes, on social media. I appreciate all those people that wished me and my family members Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Appreciate that, and I hope everyone else's holidays were great and no problems. And so I do know what's going on in Iran, but I'm not going to talk about it tonight. Those Iranian citizens, they need our prayers. So if we could take a time out to pray for these Iranian civilians and citizens that are just victims of circumstance. So I do hope that they get their nation back in order again, where the people are independent and sovereign and not controlled by any type of radical elements in their government. So my best wishes for all those people in Iran. And so I'm going to move over to, let's see here. I'm going to go back to the channel. See if we picked up. So we're still at 493 subs. Now remember, those that are on Rumble, I'm on Area Space 111 on YouTube. Okay. The avatar photograph on YouTube is Air Force One in the background. Photograph of Air Force One. So, anyways, back to the channel. I'm going to give myself a thumbs up here on YouTube. So, anyways, there's some information that I thought I would share tonight. I'm not going to go into it in any detail. Okay, so with the volatility, with far as the way silver is going now, okay, if you get into a position of getting silver, say you get in at a premium above the spot price, I guess they call the spot price, and it's over like $80 a troy ounce of silver. Just think about it being a long term investment. So there's nothing wrong with a long term investment on silver because there's so many uses for silver. Um, and I know I shouldn't really have to go through that. I'm pretty sure it's kind of common sense, all the uses for silver. So, anyways, I'm looking at being affiliated for a metals exchange, possibly get an affiliation with them. But that's later in the future. I haven't started the ball rolling on that, but that's a possibility. Um, I might, I might basically get myself into. So, anyways, the information that I believe is disinformation. Now, I got this from the lead salesperson from a metals exchange, and I had a very, very long talk with the individual. Now, what the individual told me was that this information about, gold and silver not leaving the country of China now um, are being restricted. China, from what I understand, and hopefully he wasn't. I have to call back and talk to him again. But I'm pretty sure mainly he's talking about gold, but I think that applies with silver as well. So they put some. There were always restrictions. All the gold mines in China that they extract gold from and silver from, that gold and silver can't leave the country. Okay. So they got a monopoly on their own gold and silver for their own, what do you call it? Needs, whatever that is, and solar energy, you name it. Right. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, isn't China the lead producer of solar panels? I believe that's correct, right? Somebody please fact check me. So this is where we come in together in the community and we exchange information back and forth. So somebody that knows that information, I'm pretty sure I know they build the most windmills, right? So I'm pretty sure they're the leader in building the most solar panels, right? And they send them back to the United States. So they want to keep a monopoly on certain things like that, so that's the reason why, of course, gold is used for, an investment and far as to we call that to supplement, if you will, the currency over there, which is the yen. And I don't know too much about it, but as far as this top salesperson in metals exchange, he told me that all that gold that comes out of their mines over there stays in China. And I'm pretty sure it's the same goes with silver. So now that isn't going to affect the price, as far as what I understand, because it's never been an effect, because they keep all what they produce over there or mine out of the ground, they keep it for themselves. They don't export their gold or silver. I believe it's their precious metal. So to go out there and put out information that they're going to restrict the their precious metals from going to the United States or whatever, I wouldn't look too hard into that based on the information I got. Hey, Devil Dog, great to see you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're subbed, right? You subbed this channel on YouTube. I only need 7 more subs, brother. Good to see you. Hope you had a great holidays. So, anyways, and like I said again, this is a two-way street, right? So the community and myself, that we share information back and forth. If there's anything that you believe is a mistake, put the information in the comments section so I can check it out at the end of the show and make necessary corrections. So I hope you had a great holidays there, Devil Dog. I appreciate you coming in. Man, it's been a long time, right? And I think it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe longer, that I did a live stream. So I haven't been on in a while. So thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight, even though there's not that many. Again, those that are over on Rumble, if you can come over to YouTube and sub the channel, I appreciate it. I'm at area space 111. The number's 111. okay, over on here on YouTube. So yeah, I have a picture of the sun as an avatar photograph, so you can pick me out from possibly any other Area 111s out there. I know there is one out on Rumble, but you can look at by the subs on that one. There's only like 2 sub or followers on Rumble on that channel. It's not mine. Now the avatar photograph on Rumble is a blue avatar background with a large white capital letter A for Area 111. Okay, so with that said, so there's nothing changing far as the posture of China and their precious metals per se, right? According to a top salesperson at number one gold and uh, metals exchange. I just say metals exchange because they're not only just limited to a gold and silver; they have all the other precious metals as well. So, anyways, that's the information I got. So, what's driving up the numbers? Well, first of all, it's even if it drops back down to say 50 or even lower, you're not going to lose that much money, right? If you're in for you're in for the long haul. So if you're in for the long haul, just stick around. There's a lot of wide speculation of how high silver is going to go, and a gold may touch 5,000. I heard around January 7th was the date I heard that gold could hit 5,000. And so if you're looking at people that got a pretty good, strong position in gold, they might be looking at selling some of their gold, right? And buying into silver. And basically, the demand is crazy with silver right now. It's so crazy. So I don't think they're going to artificially try to deflate where silver is going to go, but that's just my opinion. So remember, I'm not a top level economist. I'm not a financial advisor. Um, the way I look at it is if you the money you're investing in, either if you have a diverse portfolio, they call it. Um, if you have a diverse portfolio, what you're invested in. Now, sometimes it's risky investments like stocks, like are really risky. When you're going in those stocks and you're buying them, you have the possibility they could go whatever bankrupt, whatever, or go out of business, and you losing everything in the stock, right? So if you don't get out in time, so it's like gold and silver. Gold is more stable, of course, because of all the gold, but you know, I can't predict exactly where it's going to go now, but it seems to be the most stable. But I'm looking at a foundation around 2000, not, if it bumps down for whatever reason. I don't think it would. I think I think gold is people got out of gold and bought silver, and when that first spike in silver, they might have sold out and got back into the gold again. I don't know. I don't know, but it makes sense if you got a heavy position in gold that you would actually sell some of it and basically buy into silver, because either way, I don't think it's a loser. So that's just my opinion, and you see a lot of wild speculation out there going from a crashing to so a good thing if China is hoarding all their silver over there and their gold, so it's not going to be flooding our market, right? And I'm not saying that anything coming from over there is risky, but, I don't know. I wouldn't go that route. That's just me personally with what's going on and their positions in South America and that kind of thing and making some of these statements. Now we go back to, the Panama Canal. That was with, Teddy Roosevelt time frame. I was gonna look that up, but in this antiquated system I have here, I can't look at my source reference pages, so that's the reason why I'm stumbling along a little bit while I'm uh, doing this live stream. So bear with me on that. So, anyways, let me see here. Check on the channel real quick. Yeah, still at 493. Yeah, that's funny. Okay. Okay. Nicker. I think they wanted to say something different, but oh well. Let's see here. All right, so I'm sitting there trying to remember. Yeah, I was kind of like incomplete with the story about Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon. Remember Cornelius, the guy with the mining guy with his ice pick and picking in the ground and tasting to see if there's silver or gold there. Remember that? Silver and gold, silver and gold. I can't remember the whole song, but and that was the Island of Misfit Toys. And yeah, you had a student wanted to be a dentist, and uh, the dentist guy, whatever his name was, I forgot his name. He basically pulled out that rotten tooth that the Abominable Snowman had, and they became friends. He became friends with Cornelius and Santa Claus and the elves and all that stuff, right? Remember, the Abominable Snowman put the star on the top of the Christmas tree, and he had a gold tooth, right? And I think it was Cornelius that donated the gold for that tooth, if I remember correctly. But I don't have my source reference page tonight, so I can't confirm that whether that's disinformation or not. So bear with me, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so there's one thing I wanted to talk about. I know there's not that many people, but anybody that comes in later after the live stream is over, listens to the live stream. Again, if you come back in later after the show's over to listen to this live stream, please get get family members, whatever, click sub on YouTube so I can get 7 more subs and be monetized if I choose to do that. So I appreciate that. And I'll stop asking that same question over and over again. So, yeah, silver and gold. Yeah, I had a lot of good memories growing up as a kid, Christmas time and all that stuff. And, you know, on Christmas morning, going up and going, looking to see what presents were under the tree, sneaking in there at nighttime and shaking the box, try to figure out what presents was what and what was in what, what I mean? So, anyways, that was kind of cool. Anyways, show comments on stage. I'm going to turn the comments on stage. Maybe that'll help attract a few people. So again, that avatar photograph, that's Christmas Day. RH was on the beach in Florida. The temperature was 70 degrees, a little bit of wind, and wasn't bad. So I was getting grounded with nature there, and looking out after that sun is going down. It sets in. You can see a beautiful sunset at the Gulf of America, looking at the Gulf of America and that beautiful sun setting on Christmas Day. So, anyways, got grounded on that day and felt really good to get out, get some fresh air, and um, now the temperature wasn't ideal temperature, but you know, for a Florida man, 70 degrees with a little bit of wind chill factor, you drop under 70 degrees, we get kind of like we need a sweater or something on, right? So, anyways, so I hope everybody survived the horrible winter storm that hit up north in places I can't remember or don't know. Um, so yes, we got to drive by. You remember Rush Limbaugh? He called the media the drive-bys, right? The drive-bys. Rush Limbaugh. I hope his family's doing all right. So I hope we don't. I hope the people of Iran get their country straight and their government working again. Yeah, for places that some and places I've been to, places I've been stationed at. Yes, it's really nice weather for a lot of people. When the sun starts to dip now, and that date, if I got there around noon, so the sun was setting right around about what 5:30 in the afternoon. So that was kind of like late, getting to late afternoon there. So it cooled off a little bit. So it's probably less than 70 degrees, probably a little bit colder, but it wasn't much colder. Uh, okay. Okay. Knickers. Knicker? Knicker. I think he's trying to write something different, but try to be funny. Okay, whatever. Uh, okay. Yeah, I wish everyone a happy New Year because this is still a New Year. We're only what 2 days in. Yesterday was New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, excuse me. It was a government holiday, but everything was open. I mean, in Florida, I mean, we don't have a lot of those little country light stores, where I'm at right now, but there are a few, you know, and these big box stores, Walmart. I think they're open up every 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven, you can always count on 7-Eleven. They're always open 24. I mean, I think 24/7 or 7 to 11, right? Every day of the week, holidays, whatever, rain, sleet, or shine. Okay, I actually had to work at a 7-Eleven for a while, but that's a long, long time ago. It was like a volunteer type thing. Yeah. So, what did everybody do on New Year's Eve? Did y'all stay home or did you go to relatives? If you want, put one in the chat if you stayed home, but two if you went to stay with relatives. Normandy said he went to stay with his relative. He came here, I think, from Normandy, I believe it is, at Normandy, came to visit with his relatives. So that's kind of cool. Let me look this up. Oh, I can't do it. I can't look up um, source references while I'm doing live on this antiquated system I have here. Uh, let's see here. I got something cool though. I'd like to show y'all. See if I can bring this up. So remember, that's the sunshine. It was actually the sun was still up. You see it right there, and that's the um, Gulf of America. So let's see. Okay, this is another photograph I got for that day. Some mangroves, right? What do y'all see on top of that mangrove? If you can see it. Oh, okay. Oh, I gotta get caught up on the chat. I can't wait. Yeah, it's always good to be with family like that, Winslow. Don't know what you got till it's gone, right? In their song, don't know what you got till it's gone. Yeah, it wasn't. I think there was some type of restrictions for as fireworks this year. I think that we wasn't supposed to. If like the police saw you, they could give you a misdemeanor or something, right? No, that's okay. That's fine. I know what you meant. Yeah. Now the other place I'm talking about that I'm normally at, where I have a better system to do live streams, they were going crazy with the fireworks. There was one place down the end of the cul-de-sac, whatever you call it. They they must work at a fireworks factory or something for a fireworks manufacturer because they must shoot off about 5 grand worth of uh, fireworks. I mean, the huge rockets and all that stuff, you know. So we never really had to go buy my own. I just get a lounge chair, whatever, sit out in my driveway and watch the fireworks go off. But you got some. I hate to say a derogatory term, but knuckleheads. Let's just say knuckleheads. That's being polite for some of these people. They'll go out there and fire their weapons right into the air. That bullet comes down, right? That bullet eventually comes down and it strikes something. So, anyways, yeah. Okay. So let me check on the sub status for YouTube goes. Remember, I'm at 493 last I checked. Still at 493, holding strong at 493 and looking to get to 500. So again, know anyone? I don't know if y'all saw that photograph yet or not. The avatar, if you could zoom in. I think that's a great heron. Heron, Heron, I believe it is. Great heron. And that blue water you see, that's the Gulf of America as well. Okay. So on a day after Christmas, see? And that was beautiful weather that day as well. Let's see here. That was beach weather. Definitely better than actually Christmas Day or late in the afternoon. That day, the day after Christmas, was actually beautiful weather. I mean, you can enjoy the beach. I should go out there and swim up. The Gulf isn't that cold. Somebody asked me, do I want to dive in while I was at the beach? And, they got a bunch of rocks. So the further you go north, far as up the coastline of the Gulf of America in Florida, when you're heading north, it gets rockier and rockier as the higher elevation you go to, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't advise anybody diving into that water unless you can see the bottom and there's no rocks. So let's see here. Oh man. Yeah, electric bikes. So I got kind of like an early Christmas present. My sister gave me two bikes and one men's bike. Yeah. I haven't even gotten on a electric bike yet, but it looked to be pretty cool. I might think about getting one, but I don't know. Hey, maybe with the new batteries they're coming out with, right? They can be putting them into electric bike and you can have a lot more range on them. Yeah, you heard I don't know if it's a rumor or not. They said with this new technology, they have new batteries that require, I think is, what is it? A kilogram? Yeah, yeah, definitely with electric bike. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at these guys, it's like amazing. Some of them are like going as fast as my old dirt bike goes, you know what I mean? I was like sitting there thinking, man, I ought to have a blast with that if I was a kid. I don't think I don't think there's any restrictions for how old you are, right? You can be a kid, underage kids, as long as you can ride it, right? You can ride on an electric bike too as well. Yeah, there was a guy who was going at least 50 miles an hour. He's going like about I say at least 40 miles an hour, right? He's going down the sidewalk going like 40 miles an hour on this electric bike. I'm sitting there thinking, golly, if I could do that when I was a kid. Yeah, I don't think there is either. Yeah. At least I can show the chat up on the stage. I still remember how to do that. Now, is my view, I have a landscape view. Do y'all see two landscapes? One goes vertical, more like portrait, and the other one is landscape. So the vertical one's going to YouTube. Let me see if the landscape is going. I can't go over to Rumble. That's right. I'm going to try one more time. It's blocking me from going back to Rumble. So I can't even check out source reference pages. So that's why this live stream is going to be kind of like incoherent, more so than other live streams I've done. So that's the reason why. I blame it on the antiquated equipment. Let me see here. Yeah, I want to report a problem, but I'm in the middle of a live stream. Shouldn't be doing this. Wow. Trying to get over to Rumble to check out Rumble. See if we have any people over there, peeps over there. Okay, now again, I'm not a financial advisor, so the information I talked about earlier today, earlier in this live stream, that's just my opinions, right? I'm not a professional financial advisor or a advisor when it comes to precious metals. So I'm just going by a lot of just what I hear, and but again, so to recap on that, there's nobody so far on Rumble. So let me see if I take that off the screen. Yeah, Rumble is landscape mode and YouTube is portrait mode. So that's the display I have. So we talked about the holidays again. I hope everybody's holidays was great and you got time to share with your family, your loved ones, and there's no problems whatsoever. And if you do have money, I just go in it like this. It's like, for example, if you go in and play the one-armed bandits in a in a casino, only take in the amount of money that you can lose. Okay, I'm not saying you're going to lose anything from silver or gold if you buy in and you go long, right? Or get out at a profit that you're comfortable with, even if it does go straight up vertical, like all the way up to maybe even $1,000 for 1 troy ounce of silver. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? That would be crazy. But I remember recommending somebody a while back to buy silver, a person in my family, and I don't think they were listening to little ORH. You know, what does RH know? You know, he's just a scope dope, right? So um, I'm familiar with exchanges, especially with Europe before the euro. Remember, all these countries had their own currency, and I liked it that way. I thought it was really cool going. And when they went into the Europe, a lot of these countries, in my opinion, they lost their sovereignty. They lost their culture, you know, their customs, and kind of like for 4 years that invasion, 4 years, which goes totally against Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution. Remember, Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution states, the United States shall guarantee to each state in the Union a Republican form of government and will ensure against invasion and against domestic violence. So that's the That's the full justification for President Trump to undo the invasion and to stop the invasion from occurring any further. That gives him the constitutional right to undo the invasion, which includes a foreign military and terrorist insurgency into our country, that gives him the full justification through the Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution to undo the invasion. So, how many times have y'all heard me talk about this? 100 times? How many times did I read Article 4, Section 4 out loud directly from the Constitution? How many times? Maybe 100 times? I'd say that's a good, because a lot of live streams I would bring it up multiple times in a single live stream. It's like I'm screaming from the rooftop and nobody's listening, or maybe they are listening, but you know what I mean? Maybe, hopefully, it got to the right ears. Oh, so you got electric mountain bikes, so you can had no problems on the beach, huh? Oh, they're not banned from the beach yet? You know, there's always those people out there that'll mess it up for the rest of us, right? And they have to ban them. There's some place in Florida on the beach where you can drive your car and they stopped that this year. I think Daytona, you can still drive your vehicle on the beach, if I'm not mistaken, and actually park up on the beach. I haven't been to Daytona in about a year, 2 years, couple years at least. Yeah, so there was another avatar photograph I wanted to share real quick. If I remember which one it was. Hmm. I'll just go back to the Christmas Day photograph. I want to share this one real quick. Okay, let me try this again. Okay. Just have to go back to that photograph. Okay, so again, that's sunset, Gulf of America on Christmas Day. Yeah, you know, used to on some of the beaches, you can actually build a fireplace, like a camping fireplace. I think it was Sand Key in Florida, Sand Key Beach. I believe you could. I remember people driving their four-wheel drive trucks up on the dunes, whatever, in Sand Key. I think you can make campsites there. That's really cool. Yeah. So, what would What Winslow, if you're still here, what do you think? What do you think? The price range of a good, decent electric bike would be now. I'm sure they've improved them since when they first came out. Yeah, that avatar actually looks like it's nighttime almost, but no, that's not. Almost looks like the spacecraft taken off from Cape Canaveral, but that's on the wrong side of Florida. The wrong That's the Cape Canaveral. You'd be looking at them taking off from the Atlantic side, right? Coastline. That would be the East Coast versus the West Coast. Yeah, a whole lot easier, especially going up those hills, which we don't really have to worry about that too much. Now, I did live at the bottom of a hill, okay, and I had to ride that hill up to get to school in the mornings, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I had to walk it up. And even though I had a really nice 10-speed bike, and pop it in first gear, I think I finally figured out how to do it. I could barely make it up. It's a steep incline to get back up to the top of the road to go to school. A cheap one at Walmart was 650. 5 years ago. Dang, he's had a five. I didn't even think they had been out that long. Golly, that's crazy how time's flying by. That like I look at the electric bikes now when I see them, like in Florida, people driving down the sidewalks on them, going like 50 miles an hour, maybe even faster. You see a lot of stuff and the crazy stuff in Florida. I see people with dirt bikes riding down the street, weaving back and forth up on the street and on the sidewalks or just on the side of the road, right? For ATVs, golf carts, tractors, you name it. And some unidentified uh, ground ground objects, right? Some unidentified ground objects. Seen a few of those too. I couldn't make it out what they were. Yeah, how heavy is yours? How heavy is yours, Winslow? And probably the first question you get from others is how fast will it go? I was just curious. As fast as those things get up to, you think you might want to have a helmet. Yeah, almost in a way, you're like riding a motorcycle. It's got electric motors, so it's a motorcycle. It's just not a gas motorcycle. 25 miles an hour. 25 miles an hour ain't too shabby either. I remember my 10 speed on a flat surface. If I had enough pavement or enough road, I can get up to about 30 miles an hour. And but I tell you what, that's when I was a kid, teenager kid, and getting up to 30 miles an hour back then on a 10-speed bike was pretty good feat. Not I'm talking on a flat road. I remember I hit a curb on that my 10-speed bike. I had a Raleigh 10-speed bike, and I hit a curb, and that wheel just like nearly folded up in half. It's crazy. Had to get a new wheel, whatever. I it didn't. We try, the trick where you tighten up your spokes. You know what I mean? Where it works out the the bent wheel. It didn't work. It was that bad. Or I got it the best I could, and it had a wobble, but I had a problem. Thank God it was my front wheel, so I couldn't brake with my front right tire, so I had to brake with a back one. I do remember those things. 25. Yeah, they got some of those things that go over 50 miles an hour. I'm like, that's no longer a bicycle there, that's a motorcycle. Still got 4 viewers. Kind of waiting, hoping Nurse Julie, Faith, Love, and Peace. I was hoping Faith, Love, and Peace would show up. Oh, Dave at X22. Still chugging along, huh? I remember I remember there's some person of different country or something was playing his shows on YouTube, and I'd watch them, and at the end, they're like in a greenhouse or something, and it was like a lady, I think, was messing around with plants. So I was thinking, "Does Dave live in Indonesia or something like that, or Vietnam or one of those countries?" I don't know. We're talking about X22, Dave there. I can't remember his last name. I don't think he ever gave that out. I don't really need it. I mean, a cheap electric bike goes for 650. That's to me, that's still a lot of money for a bike, even if it's an electric bike. How far did you get down on the East Coast, Winslow? Did you say you were in Miami? I didn't look at the top comments that you put up. Yeah, last year the fireworks were definitely louder than they are this year. I think there was a restriction or something like that. Only people that were licensed to do like fireworks show, I think, but I can't find it because I'm restricted to actually just watching YouTube because I can't even go over to Rumble to see if that's running good. Hold on a second. No, I'm still on Rumble. Wow. So I got one thumbs up on Rumble. That was me, myself, and I. Let's see here. Go back to YouTube if it'll let me. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Come on now. Wow, this is crazy. And I can't get back over to YouTube. This thing is messed up. Finally. Magnetic storm hits the Earth. Mark my words, silver's about to be the biggest breakout story in history. This is 3 hours ago from Metal Sense and Money Sense. A lot of speculation which way it's going to go. Okay, so I want to talk about this again. I'm not precious metals expert or advisor or economic advisor, whatever. I'm not. Okay, so it's just basically my take on silver. If you want to get in and go long or get in and even thinking that you could lose about half your money, you know, because it's so volatile. I don't believe because the AI needs a lot of silver and new batteries are coming out with. Okay, and the so-called restriction of China with precious metals leaving their country, they've always been like that. I talked to the senior advisor of a metal exchange, precious metal exchange. I'm not a senior advisor, a senior salesperson. And believe me, it's a huge company and an exchange. Okay, so he said that's always been that way. Whatever China mines in their own country, as far as gold or silver, I believe too, it stays in China. So that's not going to affect it. And as far as my opinion goes, that's a good thing. But if they go in when it peaks, right, they might do a lot of massive selling. As far as the currency goes, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do that. So they have to purchase. They might try to jump all their dollars and come in and purchase up uh, the inventories we have for these metal exchanges. You know what I mean? So if they do that, they go in and they sell, then we could have more supply than demand. So we have to look at all these things. And remember, if you want to get into it like you're going in to play the one-armed bandits in a casino. Just take the money that you can lose, right? And go in and have a good time. And after you lose that money, go. Don't stay. Don't get your cards out. Don't get your credit cards. Don't mortgage your house. Okay. You know what I mean? I mean, that's ridiculous to say. There's a lot of people that have done that, right? So this is not cooperating. Okay, so live. Let me check the volume here real quick. Check the volume. Check the volume here real quick. Check the volume. Okay, we're good. Wow, what do you know? It's working tonight. So how long we been at this? So if you're just now coming in and you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe on YouTube. Okay, because guess what? I'm at 494 subs. Okay, thank you for that sub. Man, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. I'm probably gonna I'm probably going to offer, let me see if I could do this, but I'm going to have to get a position in it like like a coin, right? If I knew who exactly was the 494th subscriber, for example, I could have sent them a coin. Yeah, it could have been a silver coin. Could have been a 1 troy ounce silver coin. So when you're going in to buy silver, I'm just telling people what I was advised by the senior salesperson for one of the largest uh, metal exchanges in our country. Check the premium, because people are under the impression that, okay, silver is at the spot price. I guess they call it the spot price, right? Spot price is, say, for example, 73. That's what it was today. But when you go in to buy to get a position, remember, even now, I don't know does anybody got the current silver price now? So remember, there's premiums and there's also fees. Like, for example, if you're using a debit or credit card, you have to pay a 3.9% fee. Now, sometimes, depending on the position you go in and buy, what the quantity of the amount or the price or the amount of silver, I'm talking about silver now, that you buy, sometimes they'll waive those fees. But those fees can basically jack up and the premium price to included with the fees. Say you can get in at a position over $80 a troy ounce. Once the premium is already decided, okay, and the fees are decided, and if you have to buy your own insurance, okay, for the proper delivery, okay, so remember, you can actually see it at 73, for example, the price of silver, and go, man, I'm going to get in and buy it at 73. And okay. And now some of the stuff I knew, some of the stuff I didn't, right? I was more of I go to a local silver and gold exchange because I just like to hold stuff in my own hand and look at it with my own eyes in real life before I make a purchase, right? So, but anyways, I like to have the opportunity to get into this and diversify my portfolio, man. Doesn't that sound sexy with some silver? Poor man's gold, right? Poor man's gold. You remember that car out there they used to call the poor man's Corvette? God, what was the name of that car? What was the name of that car they called? No, I've had a C4, C4 Corvette. I've had a C7 Corvette. Let me see. Did I have more Corvettes than just two? Yeah, I bought a C7 Corvette in forgot what year it was. It was a 2016. I sold it. I only had 7,500 miles on it. I didn't get to drive it much. You know what I mean? I kept it in covered up in the carport for most of the time I had it. But kind of they were forcing me to position myself where I had to sell it, so I had to come up with cash for some property. So I ended up having to sell it. So, anyways, long story short, that's what happened in the past. But whoever that 494 subscriber was, 494th subscriber, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So I only need 6 subs. 6 subs. I don't want to bore y'all to death with R8 stories, story time. At least it ain't the what do you call that? The Queen story time. You know what I'm talking about? That's so ridiculous. If I had a child at that age, I'd yank him out of that school in a heartbeat and homeschool him. There'd be some serious discussions with the principal and whatever, the county, whatever, wherever you have to go to. There'll be some serious discussions about that kind of stuff. But anyways, but I didn't have the experience, so thank God that I have to go through that. I can only imagine what a lot of parents had to go through, especially with public schooling. Scrolling down the list here. Northern East Coast, Florida. Up by St. Augustine. St. Augustine, that's cool. Beautiful place. The oldest city in the United States, right? The oldest city. I'm pretty sure St. Augustine goes back to before 1776, but I can't check the source reference on that, so I couldn't tell y'all. So I could lose the channel. So am I talking monotone enough for everyone to help y'all go to sleep? So hopefully y'all can sleepwalk and tell your relatives, hey, RH only needs 6 more subs and he can be monetized. And he can start talking about a lot of other stuff, right? And that's free information. It would be free information because I don't charge a subscription fee, right? So if y'all wanted to donate a few troy ounces of silver, of course I would oblige and thank you. You know, I listen. I'm not greedy. I'm not going for the gold, right? What is gold right now? Like 4,300 an ounce? That's so crazy. I never think. I always thought gold was going to like correct back to around the 2000 and 2000 would be like the base. You know what I mean? But was I wrong? Right? And there's a lot of I told you so RH out there. I told you so RH. We told you so RH. We told you when silver was back. You know, yeah, I was told about a Bitcoin when they're like 200. 200. I could have went in there. I could be a multimillionaire now. Instead of all those Corvettes and stuff I bought, I could have bought Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin at now? Like what, 80,000 for one Bitcoin? That's crazy. I hate to do the fractions on that one or the percentages of what you get for, if you go out there and spend Bitcoin and buy something like $100, could you imagine the fraction or the fraction or percentage of a Bitcoin it would be? Like crazy, right? You have to be a mathematician. And the same's going with with gold, right? For over 4,000 an ounce, I believe it still is right now. And from what I heard, and I don't know, maybe I shouldn't repeat this because everybody would be furious at RH. You take back your subscription. RH told me that gold was going to go up to 5,000 by January 7th. I don't know if that was gold or silver. It was going to go up to like some crazy number over 1,000 by the 7th. I don't know, but hey, there's people out there that work in these places, right? They work directly in an exchange. I'm pretty sure they got policy, but if it's in their benefit, remember these exchanges, they're there to make money. Believe me, they are. They're taking care of uno number one. Uno number one first, right, before they take care of us. And for them to take care of themselves, uno number one, they got to know their stuff. So the guy I talked to early this morning, basically he knew his stuff. And they can't speculate. They can't tell you, okay, it's going to go to this number or that number or whatever. They're not allowed to do that. Okay? They're just there to provide you the inventory they have, and the inventory I saw there. Now, this is another thing I want to warn people about. I'm glad people are still here. There's one that just scooted out, was only here for a second. But please get people to subscribe to Area 111, okay? Because all I need is 6 more subscribers to get to 500 milestone. So anyways, remember I talked about the premium price for getting into silver, the poor man's gold, okay? The premium price that I had to pay, I think, or if I would have bought silver, I would have had to pay was like $8 an ounce. $8 an ounce. That's a pretty big. So it brings it up to about 80 at the time I was looking at it. If I had bought in, it had brought me up to 80. Okay, so you got to be careful about the premiums, because if they say, okay, silver's at 73, that's not what there's. If you're selling it, even if they're buying it, right, that's not what they're going to sell it to you for. It's going to be, they're going to get their margin of profit. Believe me, like the premium of when you buy silver. So the premium for an ounce of gold, I think, or not, silver, was $8. So it brought the price up over $80. And I was looking at if I had to order it, what the, for example, you have to pay 3.9% if you're using a credit or debit card. Yes, you can buy gold or silver on credit or debit card, okay? But another thing is, make sure when you're looking to buy whatever precious metals they are, make sure you're looking to see if they have it in inventory. There were some metal exchanges out there that I went to because I was shopping around, right? They don't have it on inventory. Okay? So what's going to happen if they don't have it on inventory? They're going to give you a future agreed upon price that they're estimating that when they get the inventory in, that will be like the sales price with a premium. So, and be very, very watch out, because if they don't have the inventory, they're going to tell you, okay, they're going to give you a projected delivery date. Even after you pay for it, it's going to be like Maria Bartiromo in a way, right? Sunday morning futures. You're going to agree, you're going to have to agree to their future price, what they believe that the price will be when they're projecting they're going to get that inventory. So they're going to win one way or the other. And guess what? That one company I was looking at, you know what the delivery date was projected to be? It wasn't until like the middle of February, right? So you get in, you're buying like paper silver. They don't even have the inventory. It's like paper silver, right? It's like going back to the stock market days, whatever. Well, never mind. I shouldn't compare those two. That's not not a good comparison. So you're buying in under the impression, okay, you're going to get the silver. It's going to be delivered in maybe a week or two, the most, right? No, they're out of inventory. So be very, very careful about buying any precious metals that are from any exchange that's out of inventory. So out of inventory, remember a lot of these exchanges, they provide the service to store precious metals at their location or their vault locations, wherever they are. Okay. So when it comes time for those people, they want to jump out and say they want to sell it for 70, right? And get out, right? Because they bought it in like 15 a couple of years ago, whatever. They want to get out. So they ran out of inventory to clear out their storage of the inventory that they already sold before to other customers. So they run out of inventory. And so if that happens, if it spikes even more, they're gonna liquidate all those holdings in the vault, and they're supposed to be there, right? So they have to liquidate everything they have. And so they don't have inventory to get new buyers. Does that make sense to everyone? So, I've been around the block a few times. I played in the market. I was a day trader for a while. Okay. I know a little bit about this, and I'm not the expert on precious metals. I can't say that, but today has been a learning experience. And if you call the right company, you get the right salesperson. And what I recommend you do is find out whenever they're open, right? And find out when their opening time is. Be the first one of the first callers that calls that company, and ask them all these questions, because they're so overloaded, inundated by telephone calls. If you're trying to call like at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, whatever, the east west time zones, mountain time zone and all that stuff. So make sure you call that company right when they open up at their time zone, right? To be one of the first callers and ask these questions. And hopefully you get a top salesperson like I had of a major exchange. And right now I'm not affiliated. And once I can be affiliated, I'm going to apply to have an affiliation. I can talk about it all day long. Okay. But I'm telling you, you got to watch out. There's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of tricks, and these people, they're not in the business. It's like a casino. It's like playing Mega Millions lottery or Powerball. They're not in it to lose. They're never lose. The odds of you actually getting a whatever you call it, a huge win when it comes to metals, for selling, buying and selling when you sell to get out, right, at a proper point. It's kind of hard to imagine for us, but the people that's doing this every day, they know what the movers are, the shakers, and what do you call that? The shakers are, right? The movers, right? They know what's going to move the price. So you have to get a good company. It's vital. I'm telling you, vital. So, after I have a little bit more knowledge, okay, I'll come out and talk a little bit more freely about what I learned today, but I wasn't allowed to discuss what I had talked about. Okay, so I don't feel right doing that. I don't do that to anybody. If I have a private conversation with anybody, I don't care who it is, right? And they tell me something, they basically confide in me, whatever, that stays between you and me and nobody else. I might make recommendation to an individual that confided with me in some far as something goes. I might give them some. I'll give them opinions probably or suggestions maybe, but I won't talk about it unless the individual says I can talk about it. And that includes me talking to other people behind the scenes, behind the live streams and all that stuff, trying to get together a show, whatever. I'll never talk about you if you don't want me to talk about you. Now, if you want me to help share your channel, for example, I'm trying to work with a certain individual that I listen to a lot. They don't know me personally. I do believe one individual knows me in the family, whatever. But this platform isn't widely known. That's kind of like a understatement, right? So I do share to Truth Social. I was sharing to at Real Donald Trump, and I don't know which channels he actually watches, which ones he doesn't watch. But anyways, I pray we don't have to go in and get kinetic boots on the ground in Iran, because that's not going to be. It's a noble cause, yes, to protect innocent people from being murdered, slaughtered like animals on the street. So over there until they work it all out and get the government, the people want back in charge. And I talked about this before, the Shah of Iran, remember? I can't pronounce his name, but everybody's saying what type of tyrant he was, a dictator and all this stuff. And, they wanted to get rid of him. They did the same thing to Hosni Mubarak in Egypt. Remember that? They did the same thing to Yanukovych in Ukraine. Remember that? Remember after they threw out Yanukovych, that stopped the peace treaty between Ukraine and Russia. Remember? All those people did not need to die. And we're talking about, certain type of washers and dryers, washing things, paper, you know what I mean? We know it. We know what's going on. All those people, most of them are basically, they're victims of their circumstance. So remember, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. That's Matthew chapter 5, verse 9, I believe it is. Somebody can fact check me on that. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Now, I hope that Iran turns around and they take the deal that the president offered them, their future leadership or whatever, and I won't go into any further information about that. And I hope that Hamas agrees to the terms that they basically signed on to. And I hope they agree to those terms. Because, again, there could be a lot more victims of circumstance in that war between Hamas and Israel. So, anyways, yeah. And China's threatening us. Basically, they're not going to move 1 inch, right, from South America. We have to go back to, this is one thing I hate about this antiquated system I'm on now. I can't bring up Teddy Roosevelt, right? I believe, I don't know if he started to build the Panama Canal, right? With our own blood, sweat, and tears. I don't know how many men and possibly women too over there that we lost. What was due to malaria? Mostly, we lost majority of people. I think due to malaria, probably typhoid too. Back in those days when we were building that Panama Canal, and those that were working with the U.S. But that was a U.S. project, and I'm pretty sure that we completed that project. And without the United States, Panama would never have that canal. But from what I understand, there's going to be another canal, and once that other canal is finished, if I was Panama, I make sure they have the right ally. That's all I'm going to say. You better have the right ally. Oh, anyways, so remember there's talk about there was concerns about dumping steel in our country. Remember that? So we don't want to be caught blindsided by dumping metals into our country, and metals that basically are not up to par. So you have to be very careful about the jewelry you purchase and that kind of thing. Make sure you're going to a reputable place. It's better to go to a reputable place and pay a little bit higher premium for, say, for example, jewelry or precious metals. You know, make sure you do your homework before you get in any position, especially if you're thinking about maybe selling out of a strong position in gold and taking your profits, paying off your debt, and hopping into silver. I think that's a very, very wise decision. And keep some of your gold on hand, of course, and yeah, buy in while you can get before it pops up. Possibly, I don't know if it'll ever get to 4 digits or not, but I'm pretty sure three digits is attainable. So, anyways, we don't know. If I was in it, I'd just stay in it, right? Yeah, if I see something when it hits like 4 digits, uh, yeah, I think that's the time. Maybe to get into some gold. Maybe back then, gold hits the base at 2,000. Who's going to pull that plug? Remember, supply versus demand. And there was something else I wanted to talk about. Okay, now this is MBSC. I think it came from NBSC or MBSC. What is that major radio station? Uh, uh, Media, MSBC, I think it is. I don't know. But I was reading this article about these drone attacks on Putin's facility. Now, they put out MSNBC. They put out an article about that, and they talk about a source reference, an unknown, a source in the intelligence community that provided the information. Now, these people that are leaking stuff and false information, basically to undermine President Trump or to try to manipulate President Trump in a way, right? With their psychological warfare operation to try to play Trump. Oh yeah, the drones hit Putin's home address, right? And they said there was a target. The target wasn't Putin's address, right? According to intel sources, right? Someone in the know. Well, if that information is classified, if that information that was shared to the MSNBC is information that wasn't allowed to be basically put out there. And they're using that as an opportunity to try to cause chaos in the Trump administration. That so-called source, and I don't care what MSNBC says, oh, we're not allowed to share our sources. What? If it's something classified and you share the source without getting authorization first of all, that source shouldn't even be providing you that information to begin with. Loose lips sink ships, right? Can sink a whole lot more than a ship, just a ship. One ship's bad enough. But you understand what I'm saying. It could be a whole lot worse. And a lot of that stuff is going on. It's going to get worse up to the midterms, 2026, right? These people haven't gone away. They're using the same old tactics, accusing them of good people of doing what they've done, take over the investigation to destroy their evidence on themselves. It's ridiculous, you know? And we should be able to pick out. So look at all the stuff about Epstein that they're having to walk back that they accused Trump of doing, right? Man, I hope he sues them. I hope he sues them till they have to shut down business. I'm normally not like that, but this is libel slander. This is defamation at the highest levels. And we're sick of it. The American people are sick of it. And they're being paid by the black budget money, right? Still, that's highly compartmentalized back to the same old people, in my opinion, in the IC community. You go to Special Activity Center, go down and read their mission statement as far as political action group. It's a simple Google search. It's a Wikipedia article. You have all the links to the source references, so you can go through, oh, well, I don't trust Wikipedia, right? Okay, don't trust them. Don't trust what RH says. Just go check out Special Activity Center, Political Action Group. Listen, read their mission statement, how they influence elections, how they lie, how they pay off journalists, how they are journalists. You got teams, compartmentalized teams working for once the Biden administration in 2014, 2015, they restructured the Special Activities Division. They restructured it and they became even more compartmentalized. So you got these whole teams out there. They're not working in unison. And why did they create the Department of National Security, right? Oh man. Department of Homeland Security. They created the Department of Homeland Security so that they would share information to help keep our country safe so there wouldn't be another 9/11, right? Whether that was remotely controlled, the planes or not, you know, or some of the planes were remotely controlled or not, I don't know. Remember the Lone Wolf pilot series? That series, that television series? It's where they used a remote controlled commercial airliner to smash into the trade towers, right? What a coincidence, right? They must have had a perfect crystal ball. They knew exactly what was going to happen to the trade towers. What? 5 months later? Yeah, go check out. You can Google search it. The Lone Wolf pilot series. It's either March or April of 2001. Go check that out. They remotely controlled, took over the pilots, the plane, and was going to fly right into the trade tower. So that, amongst other information that I've researched and many others have researched too, to include pilots, veteran pilots. We're talking about career-long retired veteran pilots. That maneuver that happened at the Pentagon, they couldn't replicate it. They could not replicate it. Remember, they got all these high-dollar simulations of all these aircraft that these commercial airliners that they fly for their training, right? They get revals and all kinds of stuff. Like they have to keep their pilot license up and keep up on the avionics and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they couldn't even replicate it. That basically that maneuver to actually strike that the Pentagon where that commercial airliner struck at. So, anyways, I won't go into that. I wasn't going to go into that tonight. So, I've talked about it before, okay, many times on this channel. So, if you go back and you scroll down, my live streams are mostly stored on Rumble. So I'm at Rumble at area 111 without the space. Because remember, YouTube deplatformed me. So anyways, let's go. See how many subs I have now. And thank you for that one. So only need six more subs on YouTube and I can be monetized. Yep. Standing strong at 494. So if you got any relatives or anybody you know who wants to come sub for the channel, there might be some information that might interest others as well. Even people, maybe friends or family, might interest them. And, warn them. RH is passionate about what he talks about sometimes, especially for our country and, to stop all this crime. Because remember, this is a law and order channel. And I don't support lawlessness in any shape or form. Now, I do support national defense and self-defense 100%. Okay. So anyways, man, getting past my bedtime. It's after 12 o'clock already, midnight. So, wow. Okay. So I think that's pretty much all the information I had tonight. So if there's somebody out there that is shy, there's like 5 people, or maybe y'all are using this live stream as what is that thing that helps you sleep? What's it, melatonin? Is that what it's called? I don't want to say that other name. I don't wish that on anybody. Melatonin. Melatonin. Yep. I'm not giving anybody medical advice. Remember? I'm not an advisor for financial advisor either. So remember that. Okay. So I'm just trying to help people with what I learned and what I've already known for a while, quite a long time. Learned a lot of this stuff a long, long time ago. let's see. Some of it goes back to the 90s. So, yes. So you don't have to take a sleeping pill. You can listen to RH and just fall asleep. I'm going to try to put you all to sleep, right? You're going to go to the twilight zone. And I have to keep the noise down because I don't want to wake anybody, you know. Welcome to the twilight zone. It's twilight, right? Isn't twilight like midnight? You look at the stars in the sky. Welcome to the twilight zone. Wow. Now you can just come in this live stream. Yeah, RH is crazy sometimes. And RH gets very passionate sometimes about our country and our citizens, and gets very passionate about stopping all the murders and the wars and the killings and needless wars. Come on, come on, come on, people around the world. This is the 21st century. What it'd be better off we go back to the caveman days. At least they don't have that red button, and we don't have to say which button's bigger than theirs. Remember remember Rocket Man? That was a term of endearment. Somebody called me Rocket Man, I'd probably like that too. I don't know. Uh Rocket Man. Isn't there a song Rocket Man? I remember one song, Elton John, is that his name? Up, Benny and the Jets. Remember? I think there was a song called Rocket Man. I'm not. I remember the other song, a ground control to. Oh, I'm gonna get a copyright here. Ground control to Major Tom. Maybe I'll get my southern accent going so I won't trigger any copyright infringements. Who sings that? Was it David Bowie? Ground Control to Major Tom? I don't know if that's the name of the song or not. Major Tom? Is that it? And let's see here. Twilight Zone. That was the television show, right? Weird things happening in the silver market. It's like the Twilight Zone. So what do y'all think is going to happen before I sign off? What do y'all think is going to happen with silver? I'm very, very bullish. I'm bull. Not full of bull right now, but I can be. I'm very, very bullish on silver, the poor man's gold. Remember, I was asking people earlier, what they call that? What car was it they called the poor man's Corvette? Golly, I can't believe I forgot that. Must not be very many Corvette people out there. It was an American car, I'm pretty sure. Pontiac Fiero? Was that it? I can't check the source reference. I can't even go to search because I could lose the live stream. That's crazy. Antiquated. See, if when I get a few more pennies. Oh, I heard that they're doing away with pennies now. They're going to be, what, 2025 is the last year for pennies, so you can buy an uncirculated penny, the last penny. I'm not going to get too crazy with copyright, but anyways, I guess they're going to go, okay, let's start bringing in all those pennies out of circulation and melt them down. That'd be a good idea because we might need the copper. too, as far as the AI goes, the requirements for AI, which is silver and the new battery type technology. I think it's a whole kilo of silver requires, let's see, a kilo is 2.2 pounds. We get ripped off when they do it with a 2.0 pounds in Europe, right? The EU, I think they were ripping us off. Instead of us getting 2.2 pounds for a kilo, we're only getting 2 pounds, right? From the EU. So anyways, yeah. So 2 pounds takes, let's say 2.2 pounds for let me see here. Yeah, I should be able to do that. 2.2. Or war. What's going on that with that? Oh, the stream for a while, look what happens. YouTube, you still live? Still live on YouTube? Yeah, YouTube's still alive. So let me check the subscribers again. Looks like people are leaving. So yeah, it's getting kind of late. I was only going to do like a half hour tonight. End up being kind of like a short marathon. Oh my God, now my battery's gone. Okay, so I'm gonna have to shut down the live stream tonight. My battery's basically down nearly to zero, so I gotta shut down really quick here. So thank you everyone for your support for this channel. Again, if you're coming in new, maybe listening after the live stream is over, please help out this channel. All I need is 4 more subs to get to 500 so I can be monetized. And I'm going to apply to be an affiliate for a major precious metals exchange. So I hope there'll be some things good come out with that. So again, thank you for all of y'all's support. And if you got a friend or neighbor you think might want to check it out on the show, yeah, have them subscribe to the channel. And there's about a good 100 live streams to go back on and read the titles of the live streams. So normally I talk about those topics pretty much all the time. You might have to listen to a long live stream to get to where I start talking about the topic as far as the titles of the live streams are concerned. So with that said, hope everybody again had a blessed holidays, and I'm praying. We need to pray for the people in Iran, those victims of circumstance over there, going through those hardships, and people and victims of circumstance in Gaza, living in Gaza, in Israel, and hopefully we can restore peace. And all right. Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you're from. This concludes the live stream. And remember, in God we trust. In God we trust. Everyone else, trust but verify. All right? Good night.